It's great to see. It's great to see so many people being excited about blue finance. It's exactly what we want, raising awareness of the blue finance opportunity. So yeah, my name is Martin Köring. I'm the head of the World Ocean Initiative at Economist Impact. And obviously the World Ocean Summit is our flagship event, and it's great to be back in person. And as you know, we have our website, ocean.economist.com. We sit under Economist Impact, so you can also find us at impact.economist.com/ocean. So we have our own platform, our own website. We focus on 4 areas. Of course, building a sustainable ocean economy. This is what we're all about here. But also the 3 interconnected planetary crises of climate change, biodiversity loss, and ocean health and ocean pollution. So we believe that building a sustainable ocean economy will help us tackle these 3 interconnected planetary crises. And of course, blue finance is absolutely vital in unlocking the funds to make that a reality. Please participate in the conversation. There's going to be opportunities to send in your questions through Slido. There's going to be a slide up here that is going to highlight how you can access Slido. It's basically slide.do, and you can actually send in your questions. There will also be opportunities throughout the conversation for Q&A. As you can see here are the details, the password. Please send your questions or ask them in the room for that matter. So just in terms of what this is about, of course, I'm very excited to actually host the Blue Finance Day, and it's just highlights how important blue finance has become in recent years. And at the World Ocean Initiative, we are actually very interested in this topic. We're just going to release a report this week on the World Ocean Outlook 2023, with blue finance really being highlighted throughout. And it's also going to be on the Swapcard app. So have a look. I think it's going to be tonight or tomorrow morning. Please download that report. Have a look. We are assessing the different opportunities in the ocean economy to tackle these 3 crises that we mentioned, but also the different sectors from shipping, aquaculture, fisheries, seaweed, and so on, to really highlight the opportunities that we see in the ocean economy and how blue finance is absolutely vital in unlocking these opportunities. So just by way of introduction, as you know, we are all very much engaged in the ocean community and ocean economy, so we know about the business opportunity and the economic opportunity. But just to highlight again that the size of the ocean economy with $2.5 trillion means that if the ocean was an economy, it would already be the 8th largest economy. Some people might say that's actually not enough, because if you look at it, 70% of the planet's surface, every second breath we take is from the ocean. The ocean economy should be even larger, should be even more of an opportunity to provide jobs, to provide welfare and growth around the world. But then if we look at the natural capital opportunity from the ocean, we're going to talk about that as well, particularly in one of the sessions this afternoon. It is actually $24 trillion in terms of natural capital value. So if people say, well, I don't really know what the economic opportunity is, you can point to the natural capital, which, as a living economy is worth much more than as an extracted economy. And this is something we have been highlighting as well in terms of, the marine natural capital, from the blue carbon assets in terms of mangrove, seagrass, seaweed, coral reefs are worth a lot more if they are regenerated and harnessed as a living economy rather than an extracted economy. So that natural capital opportunity needs to be highlighted. But then we also have opportunities from individual sectors, and we talked about some of them already. But as you know, renewable energy, 40 times more energy could be provided from the ocean than it currently does by 2050 if we only harness those opportunities. And blue finance is absolutely vital in making that a reality. We already know about offshore wind, which I think is only about 0.1% of global energy production, which is absolutely incredible if you look at the potential that offshore wind has. And then of course we have wave and tidal and integrated green hydrogen production and all kinds of other opportunities in that space. And sustainable seafood, and we're going to talk about that, the aquaculture opportunity. We're going to have the Ocean Capital 14 represented on panels that has invested in that opportunity a lot. And there is an enormous opportunity in in bringing sustainable seafood to the world. I mean, it could, according to the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy, 6 times more food could be produced from the ocean than it currently does, and that would meet 2/3 of all of our global protein needs by 2050. And that's an enormous opportunity that Blue Finance is starting to invest in and address as an opportunity. And then, of course, we have the decarbonization of shipping, which is absolutely vital for economies and also companies that are interested in the whole value chain, Scope 3 emissions. There's increasingly this pressure to decarbonize value chains, and that actually creates an enormous economic and business opportunity as well. You might have heard of the Poseidon Principles, where a coalition of banks has come together to say, we are only going to finance shipping companies that adhere to global decarbonization targets. And this all comes together in the Blue Finance opportunity. And we're going to talk about this afternoon in terms of what are the different opportunities here, from impact funds to blue bonds, accelerators. Of course, there's a conversation, debt and equity, but also the blue carbon conversation, which is a really exciting opportunity. I mean, as we know, we've recently heard about the backlash against carbon credits. But blue carbon is really interesting because it is high-quality carbon credits, and this backlash against carbon credits more generally might actually provide a huge opportunity to unlock the opportunity in terms of high-quality blue carbon credits from the likes of seagrass and mangroves that are incredibly beneficial, not just in terms of carbon sinks, but also for biodiversity and cleaning up the ocean around them. But what is the problem? We're going to unlock some of those, address some of the challenges as well this afternoon. One of the things that I'm hearing a lot, and that you will also hear in your conversations, is the search for bankable projects. How do we actually make the most of that money? There's a lot of money out there, and we're going to talk about that from the ADB's fund, 5 billion for sustainable oceans, to the European Investment Bank, and so on. There's a lot of potential money out there. So it's not that there isn't any money, and which is often something surprising. People say, yes, there's not enough money, that's why we don't have enough investment. It's actually the lack of bankable projects. And this afternoon we're going to talk about some of those opportunities to find those bankable projects. And one thing that we found, this is really actually the third in-person World Ocean Summit event in our series, because in the past couple of months, because we did the World Ocean Tech and Innovation Summit in Halifax in Canada, the World Ocean Summit Asia Pacific in Singapore, and now we're here back at our flagship event, which is great. And one thing that we found in Halifax when we did our Tech and Innovation Summit is that that's where the magic happens in the ocean community, in the ocean economy, when you bring the innovators together with the financiers, together with the experienced business leaders to learn from. And that's when they work together, that's where the ocean magic happens. And hopefully we can unlock some of that magic again this afternoon. We have identified 3 enablers to make it happen in the World Ocean Initiative. We have, of course, the governance. We need to have the regulatory framework, the standards, and the regulation needs to be in place. But we can't wait for that. And we find a lot of innovation happening outside of clear frameworks, which is also really good. Often, the ocean scene is out of sight, out of mind. But there are lots of opportunities to unlock, and we can't wait always for the governance to be in place already. But the governance is good and it's important to have for the innovation to thrive. But then we need the finance to really provide that spark. So the governance with the innovation, with the finance, these are the 3 enablers that need to work together. And the collaborations that we're going to discuss this afternoon are hopefully going to help to unlock these enablers. And then just in terms of what we're going to talk about this afternoon, so first we're going to have a session on closing the finance gap to meet SDG 14 targets, and that's going to set the scene for the overall conversation. And then we're going to look at unlocking the ocean's potential through natural capital, and there is often a question mark around, is natural capital already an opportunity, and how can we invest in it, and how can we measure it? And then we're going to have a panel discussion on scaling private sector blue finance, because what we hear a lot, and we heard about already earlier, is that there is philanthropic money, there's venture capital fund, and there's, of course, government investment. But what about the private sector? How can we really get the private sector involved? Then we're going to have a break at around just before 4 p.m. And then we're going to have a couple more discussions. One is going to be on why investors should pay attention to nature. And there was going to be an interview on the ripple effect of philanthropy. And then finally a presentation on making an impact with blue bonds. That's all going to happen this afternoon. So it's going to be packed with lots of great conversations.